tensions once again. After a year-long pause, the country launches 2 short-range missiles in violation of UN resolutions. So what is the message from the isolated nation, and to whom? Plus, after escaping slavery and a labor camp, this North Korean defector is now running for political office in the UK. And the Olympics torch relay kicks off in Japan under the shadow of the pandemic. Will it spark more excitement for the crisis-hit games? I'm Girish Banerjee. Welcome to DW News Asia. Glad you could join us. North Korea has fired 2 short-range ballistic missiles into the sea around Japan. These are its first ballistic missile launches in a year in violation of UN resolutions, and also the first since Joe Biden became US president. The launches by Kim Jong-un's regime come just a week after high-level US visits to Japan and South Korea, where the allies committed to the complete denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. Naturally, there have been stern words from the region.
The missile launch, which is the first time in nearly a year since March 29th, poses a threat to peace and safety in Japan and the region. I am determined to protect the lives of our people and ensure that they have a peaceful life by working closely with relevant countries such as the US and South Korea.
And for more on this, I'm joined from Seoul by Jeongmin Kim. She's a correspondent at NK News, a news website reporting on North Korea. Jeongmin, welcome. I think it was a question of when and not if North Korea would test ballistic missiles. Now that it has, what is the message it is sending with these launches, and to who?
I think many experts right now are wondering whether or not this is a message to Washington. And I think it's not just for Washington, but also for internal reasons as well. There was a very big political event in the early days of 2021. They held a party congress, and they emphasized a lot on defense capabilities. And it seems through these tests, they are just doing what they already set out to do. And the internal message here would be that even though they are going through a lot of economic difficulties right now because of the closed border, because of COVID-19, and also back-to-back catastrophe, natural catastrophe last year, defense capability and military readiness is still important. So they are just testing these missiles in terms of keeping up with their readiness posture inside North Korea.
But what about the message to Washington? I mean, so far North Korea has rebuffed any attempts by the US to establish contact with it. Does North Korea think it is pointless talking to the United States?
It seems that they don't think that there is much to go with the Biden administration. Also, during January Party Congress, although they mentioned a lot about defense capabilities and they showed this very long list of wish list of weapons development, they also hinted that they are just not really interested in diplomacy with the United States anymore, saying that their hostile policy did not change. And it seems that was a waste of time to meet with former President Donald Trump. He was a convention as a president. It seems because Biden seems like a more principled, traditional politician, and he has mentioned North Korea's quote-unquote egregious human rights a couple of times. It seems that they think that Biden, they don't have much hope with any breakthroughs with the denuclearization negotiation with Biden in the terms that they will think of as satisfactory.
Now, last week, Jeongmin, we also saw high-profile visits to the region. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin visiting South Korea and Japan, and all the allies appear to commit to the complete denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. Given what we are seeing with these tests, how is this goal to be achieved?
It's a difficult question. I think these countries, Japan, South Korea, United States, and North Korea, they have all very different views on what denuclearization is and what they are denuclearizing. So it really depends on how they will negotiate the end goal going on. The very hot topic in the past few weeks was whether or not it's denuclearization of Korean Peninsula or if it's denuclearization of North Korea. It seems that the Japanese side and the U.S. side think more of a denuclearization of North Korea sort of definition,
Right.
as in North Korea is a WMD threat. But from South Korean side, they are saying Korean Peninsula, denuclearization of Korean Peninsula as well as North Korea.
Now, what is the role of China in all of this, given that Xi Jinping and Kim Jong Un exchanged messages of support with each other on Monday?
I think China has two roles. First would be about sanctions, and the second would be about the red lines on these weapons tests that North Korea may do in the following months or years. Regarding sanction, it's unclear what Biden's decision is regarding North Korea. But if Biden decides that they will go primarily with the pressure policy, China will have to cooperate. From U.S. point of view, China will have to cooperate with sanctions because most of North Korea's trade goes through China, and economic pressure wouldn't really work if China is really helpful in the back door for China. Regarding the red line, I think China's role is to whether or not they will okay certain weapons tests, like nuclear tests. If you remember back, China and North Korea, they drove a wedge a little bit because
Right.
China agreed to sanctions after North Korea's sixth nuclear test. So we'll have to see where China stands on this.
Right. Thanks very much for that. Jeongmin Kim speaking to us from Seoul.